It was one of those evenings when the world outside seemed to hush itself, the rain tapping softly against the windows while the wind whistled faintly through the trees. Emily had just finished tidying up her kitchen and decided to curl up on the couch with a blanket. At 28, she had grown used to quiet nights alone, especially since her work as a teacher often left her exhausted. The house was peaceful, the lights dim and warm, and for once she was grateful for the stillness. She was about to turn on a movie when a sudden knock at the door startled her. For a brief moment, Emily hesitated. She rarely had visitors this late in the evening, and with the weather outside so dreary, she wondered who could be standing on her porch. When the knock came again, softer this time, she got up, pulling the blanket tighter around her shoulders, and walked to the door. As she opened it, she was surprised to find Daniel, the 21-year-old who lived next door with his parents. He stood there with damp hair, his raincoat sprinkled with droplets, and a hesitant smile on his face. "Hi, Emily," he said, his voice carrying both warmth and shyness. "Sorry to bother you, but I was walking home, and the storm got worse. My parents aren't back yet, and I didn't really want to sit in the dark by myself. I hope it's okay I stopped by." Emily's first instinct was relief. She had known Daniel since he was a teenager, though they had never spoken much beyond neighborly greetings. He had always seemed polite, hardworking, the kind of young man who helped his parents mow the lawn without being asked. She smiled and stepped aside. "Of course, come in. You shouldn't be out there in this weather." Daniel walked inside, brushing rain from his sleeves as he glanced around the warmly lit living room. "Thanks," he said quietly. "I wasn't sure if you'd mind." "Not at all," Emily replied, shutting the door behind him. "Honestly, it's nice to have some company." The two settled in, Emily offering him a towel to dry off, and then guiding him toward the kitchen where she put water on the stove for tea. They spoke about little things at first, the rain, his college classes, her busy days at school. The storm outside rumbled occasionally, but inside the house, a calm settled between them. Daniel seemed grateful not just for the shelter, but also for the chance to sit and talk. As they sat on the couch with their steaming mugs, Emily noticed how Daniel's expression softened as he began opening up about his life. He talked about the pressure of being the youngest in his family, how sometimes he felt like people underestimated him because of his age. Emily listened with patience, nodding, occasionally sharing her own stories of feeling overlooked when she first started teaching. Their words flowed naturally, weaving a bond that surprised them both. At one point, the lights flickered from the storm, and Daniel chuckled nervously. "I was half afraid I'd be sitting alone in a blackout. Thanks for letting me come over. This feels safe." Emily smiled warmly. "You're always welcome here. Neighbors should look out for each other." Their conversation shifted into lighter topics, movies they liked, favorite books, the funniest things that had happened to them in school. They laughed together, the sound mingling with the gentle patter of rain. Emily realized how refreshing it felt to share the evening with someone rather than the silence she had grown used to. Later, Daniel noticed a loose light bulb in the hallway fixture and offered to fix it. Emily tried to protest, but he insisted, climbing onto a small step stool with careful focus. She couldn't help but smile at his thoughtfulness. "Well," she teased, "I guess having you here is more useful than I thought." Daniel grinned as he finished tightening the bulb. "Happy to help. I owe you for the tea anyway." Time seemed to slip away as they talked. Hours passed until the rain began to quiet outside, and the storm slowly moved on. Daniel stood, glancing toward the door with a small sigh. "I should probably head back before my parents worry. Thank you again for letting me stay. Tonight was really nice." Emily walked him to the door, her smile gentle. "I enjoyed it too. You're welcome anytime, Daniel." He gave a grateful nod before stepping out into the cool, damp night. Emily watched him walk down the path, the streetlights glowing against the wet pavement, before closing the door. As she settled back by the window, now silent except for the soft dripping of water from the roof, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, a sense of unexpected connection. For Emily, it was just one rainy night, but it reminded her that life had a way of bringing people together when they needed it most. For Daniel, it was more than shelter. It was a reminder that kindness and openness could change how heavy the world sometimes felt. Both walked away with lighter hearts, and though they didn't know what the future held, they both understood that this small, heartwarming evening would remain with them.